Good morning. This is the Great Basin Prescribed Fire Briefing, Friday, October 13th. Looking at the past 7 days, light to locally moderate precipitation across central and northern areas, and a lot of this precip here and across the Uintas, the Wasatch, eastern Idaho mountains, western Wyoming. A lot of it was in the form of snow. These green areas are anywhere um, from a half inch to an inch of precipitation, so 5 to 10 inches of snow in the peaks, and even 3 to 6 inches in some of the middle elevations above 6,000 feet. So that's definitely a sign of the times. But it's been bone dry in the south, and you can see in southern Nevada, parts of the Arizona Strip and southwest Utah, single digit 100-hour fuels goes up quite a bit further north. Same story in the 1,000 hours. Quite dry in the south, but then definitely once you get north of the I-80 corridor, those 1,000-hour fuels are above 15% and even towards 20%. Now, on the satellite imagery, that storm system that gave us the precipitation and the mountain snows the last couple of days is well off to the east into the Midwest states. There's another cold front, strong low approaching the Pacific Northwest and Northern California, but in between, we have a weak ridge of high pressure kind of acting as a dry barrier for now. And there's that weak high kind of blocking the storm system from making much further eastward progression from where it is right now. Now, the ventilation index on the right-hand side, and this is a combination of both transport winds and mixing height. So it combines both horizontal and vertical mixing or dispersion. And the areas in white to yellow indicate excellent overall dispersion. And you would expect that with low pressure trying to build in and the high pressure weakening. On the wind front, just some maybe 8 to 15 mile an hour surface winds in western areas, lighter winds further east. The humidity at the surface, minimum humidity, starts drying out. We have teens to mid 20s in a lot of western and central areas, but getting a little bit higher still in the east where they had more precipitation as well as in the north. Now, the transport winds on the left hand side, these are a little stronger. They incorporate the entire mixing height. And this is the mixing height here on the right. This is how high your smoke will probably get above ground level before it starts to flatten out. And these yellows to oranges to reds indicate anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000 feet in the red above ground level. That smoke will go before it starts flattening out. So good overall mixing. Now on Saturday, weak ridge of high pressure still in there. The powerful Pacific storm system starts edging in just outside our area into much of Oregon and Washington state. That means the overall dispersion or ventilation is quite good, as you normally get with low pressure approaching. The strongest transport winds on the left will be in our far western areas. Humidity continues to dry out, so some good drying in many areas to maybe get some burning in. The transport winds on the left, strongest again in western areas closest to that storm system. Vertical mixing also excellent in a lot of areas. Now, on Sunday, things change. That high pressure rebuilds further northwards, and that blocks off the eastward progression of that Pacific storm, so it just stays over the Pacific Northwest. Our dispersion with that high pressure building, not as much areas in the white, a lot more yellow to red, so the overall dispersion starts going down. You can see the surface winds pretty light in a lot of areas, as you'd expect under high pressure. Those humidities continue drying out, which is actually good news for burning. Transport winds also pretty light, and the vertical mixing, not as much red on the map, a little bit of green poking in, which is vertical mixing only about 1,500 to 2,000 feet. So not a bad dispersion day, but not as good as the previous days. 3-day precipitation totals, we stay bone dry. The precip stays further to the west. Now on Monday, that high pressure really builds in strong, so we stay dry. We also warm up quite a bit. Dispersion overall, the ventilation index shows the best dispersion still in western areas. Not so good in the far east. But as the high pressure shifts further westwards, we get a bit more of a northerly flow, and actually the dispersion gets better in eastern and central areas and starts decreasing a bit across Nevada, but we stay dry. And as we get into the end of the week, we can see through here that Thursday, a week, basically 7 days from now, or 6 days from now, high pressure still remains in control firmly through the region. Warm, dry, northerly flow, good overall ventilation. Looks like day 4, day 5 precip, just a little bit of spotty stuff up in Idaho, and then nothing as we go day 6, day 7. So it looks like we can dry things out and maybe get some good burning in by the middle of next week. 7-day precip totals through here. And further down the road, 8 to 14 day, this takes us into the October 20th to 26th period, and much above normal temperatures and much drier than normal conditions expected for much of the Great Basin. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day. Next one coming up this Monday. We'll be doing these on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays through the burn periods. Have a great day and great weekend.